The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. How do you easily share information on your customers, prospects, suppliers, and activities easily with a CRM system like Workbooks? Hello, my name is Tim Wilmot. I'm joined by my colleague Peter Johnson this morning, and my company, Wizard Systems. We're a leading independent CRM solutions supplier of systems like Workbooks. We help organizations, mainly small and medium-sized organizations, use simple solutions to help them improve their sales, marketing, and customer service productivity. So thanks for joining me, us this morning for our Workbooks Hangout session, our regular series of short workbooks, presentations, training sessions, focusing on different topics in and around CRM and workbooks. And this morning, we're going to go through queues in workbooks. Now, this presentation will only be about 10 minutes, quarter of an hour or so. It's just a really overview of this feature. My company, Wizard Systems, offer many extensive training options. During this lockdown period, if you're listening to this on our YouTube channel, this is a recording of a live presentation from April 2020. So we do offer many extensive online training courses on Workbooks if you want to explore those with us. Now, the audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got any questions, please type those into the question box on your meeting control panel, and we'll do our best to answer those at the end. Also at the end, I'll be giving you an update on any Workbooks product news to keep you in the loop. And this call is being recorded as well. After the presentation, you will get a link, an email with a link to the recording, which you can play back at your leisure, and we'll most likely pop it up on our YouTube channel as well. Okay, so let's get started. I know a few people, or quite a few people on the call, are familiar with us. We've supplied them with their Workbooks CRM system, but we are independent suppliers of systems like Workbooks. A lot of experience with the system. We've implemented well over 3,000 CRM systems all over the UK and further afield, and we can provide any level of help you need in getting your system up and running, getting the most out of it, getting support, an extensive range of add-ons to Workbooks as well to extend its functionality even further. Okay, so let me now hand over to my colleague, Peter Johnson, who will take you through all the key things you need to know about queues.
Thanks, Tim. Good morning. Can you hear me okay, Tim?
Yep.
Okay, so can you see my screen okay as well?
Yes.
Okay, right. So good morning to everybody. So I'm just going to take a quick look at queues. Really, this is an extension to the last session. So if you didn't catch the last session on notifications, maybe worth having a look at that. I did give a quick example of a queue in that session, but this is a bit more detailed, how to create queues and a couple of ideas on using them going forward. So a queue, really, the best description of a queue is an allocation of a record to a group of users. So the idea of that is that a number of users can see these records and actually react to them in some way. They can also be aware of them arriving in a queue. So you allocate a particular record to a queue. The people that are in that queue, the users, members of those queues, get a notification of those. And that's really where the tie-in comes from our last session with notifications. So let's just have a look at creating a queue. So a queue is unique to the type of record. So what I mean by that is that a person queue will only be available when you're looking at the people records, and organizations have a queue, and cases and sales leads, and also quotes. Every record type in the system uses queues or can use queues. My example is going to be sales leads. So let's have a look at the sales leads landing page here. So I've got a list of all leads and so on here. Now, of course, as a user, you can use my leads. So when you go into a lead, you can see in the system, if I just open up a lead here, you can see in the system when it's assigned to, you can have an option to assign it to a person. But I don't know whether you can see here, we've got some queues. You may already have some queues. There are some default ones out of the box. If you haven't assigned a queue at all, you'll probably find you've just got one, which is the unassigned queue. So it's a good idea to have one in here. It allows you to have a record in the system that is in a particular stage. For example, the example I'm going to give this morning is to create a queue called new. So any new leads come in, go into this queue of new, and then as a user, you could go and take one of those and start reacting to it. A perfect example would be a business where leads are coming in on a regular basis, and there's a team of people that go and get a lead on a first come first serve basis. They can all see this queue of leads called new, and then take it for themselves, and then start dealing and trying to qualify those new leads. So my example is a new lead queue. So let's go in and create and see where we look at queues. So down here in the bottom of your landing page, if you have the relevant capabilities, you can manage and create new queues. Now I've gone into manage queues here, and you can see here the queues that you've just seen against the sales leads record as an option. At the top here, I can create a new sales lead queue. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to call it new leads. So this is a queue called new leads. You might put a description in here, or new leads. I'll put in queue. There you go. Now, when you've created the queue, you then allocate who are members of this queue, and in the system they're called subscribers. So when you choose to add subscribers, you can get a list of users. I'm going to add myself, a couple of my colleagues in here, and they're all part of this queue. And if we subscribe those users, you can see there are now subscribers to the new leads queue. So what I want is these people notified when there's a new lead comes in, and it's allocated to that particular queue. And you can see there's some tick boxes here. At this point, you can't change these, but the users themselves can change these, and I'll show you that shortly. But everybody currently will get a notification when a record is added to that particular queue. There's also some sharing options if you've got advanced security, maybe a future topic. We'll have a look at some of the advanced security features in Workbooks. But if I just choose save and close here, you can see here now I have a new leads queue. There's a bit of reporting on how many leads are in that particular queue at the moment, and so on. Now, the idea of this is if I go back to all queues or entered a new lead, for example, if I go here, this one's in the telemarketing queue currently, but I could change it to the new leads queue. Therefore, when I save and close or save this, all of those people that are in that particular queue will get the notification to say there's a lead, just hit that list or that leads queue. A perfect example of that would be perhaps your web to lead forms. Those that aren't using web to leads, it's a little feature within Workbooks built in where you can apply a form on your website, maybe to take information about new inquiries. Now I've got a lead form already. Now when a lead form is used on your website, it allocates a lead to a particular queue. This one currently assigns it to the tech lead queue. I'm just going to change that to the new lead queue. So I've actually got a form which I use as an example, which will allow me to add a new record to the Workbooks CRM account. So here it is on my desktop. I'm just going to open this up very briefly to show you how this will work. So here's an example of a form. This could be on your website, on a tablet. You might be at an event, that type of thing. And there's people back in the office that need to react to these leads as soon as you get them. So I'm going to just put in information in here. Tim Thomas, let's do Tim Thomas, to put a telephone number in here, and email Tim at testing.com. Let's put him at Thomas Inc. Let's put London in here. Let's put a bit of an address in here. Yep, that'll do. So I've just filled in a lead form. So this could be a visitor to your website, or you know, at an event or so on. And if I choose submit, so this lead form then allocates that lead straight into your Workbooks account. Let's go and have a look. In fact, I've gone into my account, and you can see here I've already had the notification. And the reason I've had that notification is because I am in that lead queue of new leads. Let's go and open the record. You can see here it's hit the account. You can see it's already assigned to new leads queue. That's why I got the notification, as did any other people that were subscribers of that queue. Now, it might be that I'm a manager and I just want to see those when they arrive, or perhaps not get the notification. In your landing page of queues, as a subscriber to a queue, you've got my queues here, and you can see any leads within that particular queue. But if you go to manage queues, or in here, we went to manage queues, in here, you can tell Workbooks that you don't want particular types of notifications on that particular queue. You can see this little pencil icon. It's a little bit hidden over on the right here. But if I click on this, you can see those two check boxes that we saw when I created the queue to tell me, well, actually, I want to know when there's new leads come in to that queue, or I'd like to know when something leaves a queue. This is ideal for maybe a manager that wants to know when something's left a particular queue. A good example of this was recently, actually, a manufacturing company that we deal with they build and create custom products for production lines, actually. So when the salesperson has created a quote and sent it ready for approval, they have a testing team that needs to make sure that they can deliver this product. So they have in the sale a testing and approvals queue, and the sales manager wants to know when something's left that particular department, so he gets notification when something comes out of that particular testing or approval queue. So it's a good example of perhaps checking when you want something, notification is being removed. So queues, really simple, really quick to set up. Just remember that they're unique to each type of record. So if I go into, for example, cases, and look at a particular case, you might have a separate list of queues. Let's go into one of these cases and see what queues I already have. You can see it's a particular type of queue that's going to manage queues here. You can see in cases, I've got consulting, engineering, operations, second line support. So this might be a manager that wants to know when a particular record, a case, has left the second line support team and gone back to somebody tracking it in the normal way at first line support. Queues. Tim, anything to add there? Any information?
No, thanks very much, Peter. As I say, it's just really, this is meant to be just really an overview of the queues feature. There's a lot more other capabilities that we can use queues for. Peter was mentioning all these different types of records as well. If you want any further information on queues, or indeed any aspect of Workbooks, please contact us at Workbooks and Wizard Systems. We're only too keen to help you out. And we on these regular sessions, we do have a Q&A section to it. So if you've got any questions now, please type those into the question box on your meeting control panel. Let's just see if there's any questions coming through. Sam is asking, can you use queues for quote approvals?
Oh, yeah. Perfect example of it. So, yeah, so in your quote records, so here we've got sales, customer quotations. So if you've got a particular quote that you're working on, yeah, so you can actually have a queue that you could pass it to the approvals team, for example. Perfect example.
Okay.
If you've got advanced security, you can stop people doing something else until that's been approved by a particular team. Yeah.
Okay, hope that answers your question, Sam. And Audrey, can I get alerts on my iPhone?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So you might want to take a look at the last session here where we covered notifications and alerts. You can change how you receive your alerts, where you receive them in your user preferences there. So probably worth catching up on our last session. I believe that's up on YouTube already, Tim.
Yep. Yeah. So you will get a link to our YouTube channel on most of the communications that we send out. So they're all up there. A whole stream of previous topics that we've done, and we hope to during this lockdown period, we hope to do this on a regular weekly basis, probably a Thursday. Doesn't matter if you can't attend live. We will be making a recording. If you register, you do get an email from our system with a link to recording, and we'll put it on our YouTube channel as well, Wizard Systems. So you can do a Google search for Wizard Systems within YouTube, and you should find our channel quite easily there.
You can also get it from the website there, can't you, at the top?
Yep, on our website as well, top right corner. So as we also normally do, just to keep you up to date with what's happening on the workbook scene, you might have had actually a notification this morning. So this is 23rd of April, 2020, the latest release of the April release of workbooks. Will allow you to log into workbooks with your Microsoft credentials. That's a new thing. Shared landing pages via a URL, and also a big one, which we've been waiting for a little bit, a link to Microsoft Word for creating letters, forms from a Word template. So great integration to Microsoft Word as an add-in. More information, you'll get that. If you're subscribing to Workbooks Bulletins, you'll get more information on that. And we'll, of course, most likely cover that, Pete, on an up-and-coming session as well, just to keep you up to date with any new features added to help you get the most out of Workbooks. So thanks very much for your time today. There's our contact details. If you've got any question about Workbooks, if you're an existing user or a potential new user, want to have a chat with us, please contact us via any of those methods, and we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, look forward to speaking to you next week on a new topic. We'll be doing a mail out probably at the beginning of the week, but hopefully catch up with you soon next week. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye.